There are so many interesting, horrifying, or downright weird things in this big world of ours.
Each week, we'll bring you a new true crime story that has little to no coverage in English.
Let us do the translations so you don't have to.
I'm Victoria.
I'm lost.
I don't know why we're so bad at this. Shouldn't we have a better intro? Can this be the intro now? Hello, it's us.
It's me, Laura. Hi.
And it's me, Petra. Welcome to the podcast Translation Murder. It's my turn. And actually, this won't be a long episode, I promise. So it's kind of a. We had such a long episode last time. We had 2-part episode, so this is kind of short for a chance.
We need to balance it out.
Yes, exactly. That's my point. So this is actually kind of a listener request, a case that happened, or I don't know if you can even call it a case, but something that happened in Sweden. It's 11th of June in 1979, and we are in Kiruna, the northernmost city of Sweden. Original Kiruna was founded as a city in the end of 19th century to serve the mining industry of the area, which is still one of the major employment, plays the major role as an employment of the residents. Other industries of the area are, of course, tourism, as it's in the north, the Swedish Lapland, so you can see aurora borealis and do ski stuff and enjoy snow during the winter. So it's about 200 kilometers north the Arctic Circle, and the population is about 23,000 people, and apparently it was pretty much the same in the 1970s. So not a big city, but as said, there's a mine, there still is a mine, and some tourism. So, and a space center. I don't know if it's that big for the employment, but anyway, it exists. And to give a bit more context of the location, it's about 100 kilometers from the Norwegian border if you go north, and about 200 kilometers from the Finnish border if you go east, and about 1,000 kilometers from Stockholm, the capital of Sweden. Obviously, if you go to south. Some other interesting facts about the area is it's quite multicultural area. So the people of the area are Swedish-speaking Swedes, Finns, and Meänkieli-speaking people, and Sami people, the indigenous people of Lapland. Anyway, there's these all languages have the minority language status in this area. And I guess most of the listeners probably don't know Meänkieli, but it's a language that's very, you would say it's a close relative to Finnish. It's spoken basically only in Sweden and some west parts of Finland, but some linguists say it's more like a dialect of Finnish. But I think politically it has the status of language.
Yeah,
So,
I
yeah.
mean, my ex, his parents, they were both Mankieli speakers, so they came from Ylitornio, and so I never was able to hear the difference when I was really early on in my Finnish Finnish career. So it was kind of like, yeah, it just sounds like a dialect of Finnish to me, but of course there now I would like to listen to it with a better ear to understand like the bit of the nuances with it. But yeah, Sounds a
Some
bit like French.
people say the same about Swedish and Norwegian.
Yeah, they do.
And that's how to start a fight between Swedes and Norwegians.
But I mean, these are interesting. They are, in lots of cases, they are political things rather than like linguists would just neutrally decide that, okay, this is enough difference to be defined as a language and not dialect. But it's about identities and stuff like that. So yeah, it's not a
Yeah.
simple thing to define.
Yep.
And these had nothing to do with the case, but good
Yeah,
for
but
everyone
we're
to know.
at least 2/3 of us are linguists, so it's kind of you have to.
Yeah.
I'm the one. I'm the 1/3 who isn't.
Yeah. But then the other 1/3 who has schooling in geology, I wanted to ask, but I already did the research quickly while you were talking, Petra, about I was just curious what they were mining for. Uh, so yeah, I had to check, and apparently it is iron ore, and it is apparently largest and most modern underground iron ore mine in the world. So that's kind of interesting in Kiruna. So
Yeah. And I understood that they're like it's very like it's mining area. There are also mines that are not used anymore, like historical
yeah.
mines, and then there is the newer mine, and then there are some mines that are about to collapse and not in use, and
Mm.
like different types of mines in the area, and of course the most modern one that is still in use. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then other interesting known thing from Kiruna is that it has the I thought that this would be pronounced as S-range, but it's apparently S-range. So S-range Space Center. It comes from the words ESRO sounding rocket launching range. And ESRO was the European Space Research Organization, which has later merged with another organization and become the European Space Agency, also known as ESA, which is like
Mm.
the NASA of Europe. So we train astronauts, or what are they? Euronauts? Whatever. So this S-Range Space Center was built in 1964. So it was there already when this case happened. And it's a base for various scientific research like high altitude balloons, investigation of aurora borealis, sound rocket launches, satellite tracking, and stuff like that. I think it's like I understood it's most active during winter time because I mean aurora borealis can't really be seen during summer because Lapland has the nightless summers, so it doesn't really get dark.
I mean, this is actually important to point out because a lot of people ask me this or like are kind of confused about this. Like, oh, is it,
Yeah.
I don't know, like why and when it's like always dark or never dark there. So not always self-explanatory for everyone.
Yeah, and I think this is also good to understand in this case because this happens in June, and June is almost midsummer, which means that it's already the nightless nights in Lapland. So it's not dark at all. It may be like a bit, you know, not like bright light during the middle of night, but it's not dark like you think it gets dark in the night. Okay, so that's about Kiruna. Now we know unnecessary lot about random Swedish town. Uh, okay, so the story starts. A body is found. I actually found two versions of who found it. One version was that a road worker found some suspicious footprints in a newly built forest road and thought that, okay, this is out of place, I should call police. But then I started to, like, this sounded weird, like, who would call police when they see footprints in a forest road? And why the heck would the police come? Like, okay, footprints? Well, people have the right to walk in forest roads, whatever. And I
Especially the
did,
every man's right. I'm sure they also
yeah,
have that in Sweden as well.
Mhm.
So, I mean,
yes,
in Finland, just to explain to other people who don't know this, that unless it's posted or like a keep out sign, then you can basically go anywhere in Finland and you can pick and collect anything from nature unless there's protected substances, kind of like the kuusenkerkä, which is spruce tips, and a few other things that are a bit kind of finite reserves of materials. So, yeah, basically you can collect blueberries or mushrooms or whatever all throughout Finland as long as it's not posted that, hey, keep the fuck out, basically. So,
and I think it's pretty much the same idea in Sweden.
yeah, yeah. Which might be a bit difficult. And I'll probably cut this out too because I'm going to be mean, but it's probably difficult for people from the US to understand like freedom throughout the land, you know. People
Of the
really like
land
their
of the free, it's hard to understand the actual lands of the free.
yes,
Okay, we
exactly.
have to cut this out, I guess.
Or maybe we don't.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Well, if we
So,
cut all of this out,
yeah,
we have like 1 minute left of the
yeah.
recording so far.
Okay, but anyway, in I read a lot of Swedish forums about this case, like lots of messages about this, and they were a bit suspicious about the road worker story. And then I found another source, or like two sources, that said it was actually like fishermen, probably just like these sports fishermen who are going to fish for fun. There are lots of lakes there, so I suppose they're going to a near lake. So this is not near the sea, but some, Sunday fishers. Maybe that's the right term. That
Yeah,
they
because I was just
actually,
about to say, like, if you had fishermen and it was like landlocked area, no lakes around, I'm like, that is conspicuous in itself as well. So,
uh,
okay.
but I understood. I think it was like sports fisher, the word in Swedish. So, well, that's kind of not professional fishermen, and that they had found a body, that they actually walked there uphill and saw a body and informed the police. And this story makes much more sense to me because, if you actually find a body in the forest, the police will come.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. Footprints are like not that suspicious.
So, anyway, the body is found, it's not like by the road, it's a few kilometers uh, away from the road. So, if you were just walking randomly the road, you wouldn't probably notice the body. So, I guess, I don't know why the fishermen were in the forest, but maybe they knew a good route to a good place in the lake or something. That there was no road to, and it was roughly 10 kilometers west from the S range, uh, and there was no roads and no trails, so you really have to just walk kind of through the forest to be in that spot where the body was found.
But what was like the terrain, I wonder? Because if it's that far north and that far into the Arctic Circle, I'm just assuming that the terrain isn't that difficult. Like, I mean, the tree line and whatnot isn't going to be that impenetrable as you would have in maybe more southern parts of Sweden, or yeah, I don't know.
A good point that you brought here. I somehow thought it as very foresty spot, but it could be that it's closer to this, yeah, like what you see in Lapland, kind of. Or I'm not sure. I yeah, could be forest,
I mean, I
could
would
be less
assume that
forest.
the trees are not that tall
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
anyway.
most
Okay.
likely. Yeah, but that's actually a good point. Now I just put my Google Map guy into a random road here. Yeah, it's like it doesn't look like it's easy to walk in, but they are not so high as they would be in, middle of Finland, for example, or in the forests around in southern Finland or wherever. Yeah, a bit shorter.
Okay. Yep.
Some facts about the body. So it's a male body in his 20s to 30s, about 175 to 177 centimeters. And this is also a weird thing that I found two sources. Other said black hair and other said ash-colored hair, which are kind of the opposite. Like if it was
Yeah,
brown
ash
or
colored.
ash, I would understand, but black or ash,
Yeah.
they're very. So I don't know if the other was just a
And I
mistake.
think, just another thing too, centimeters. I think 177 is about 5'10", and 175 is about 5'9", if people are wanting that conversion, just as a...
Okay.
Well, we'll
True.
only do this in the first few episodes, and then everyone has to learn how to make the conversions for
Yeah,
themselves.
like learn metric, because
It's better.
US is the only one that doesn't have metric, and it's ridiculous. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll
And
Google it.
anyways, people will Americans will stop listening after this anyways.
Yeah.
So I don't think we have to convert it anymore. Okay.
Yep.
Sorry.
But anyway, I would say that's pretty average height for a male. Like, yeah, not super tall, not super short. And this guy he's shaven, but he has sideburns because it's the 70s. Pulisong. You
Yeah,
just look so
I thought you were
confused.
Yeah, because I didn't know the word.
Wait, what was the Finnish word again? Pulisongit. Never heard
Pulisonki.
this.
It was
Yeah, I
a
didn't know
pulisong
police.
in Swedish also, so it was very easy to
Ah,
Yeah, and I didn't
understand.
know that. And I thought you were saying song, and I was like in English, and it was like a weird translation in my mind.
and I was thinking, the Hungarian dog breed, Puli. So I was thinking about that. Does it have to? I mean, that also has this like long, like dreadlocks kind of.
Hmm.
Okay. Yes.
Okay. But so he's shaven, but he has sideburns because it's the 1970s.
Yeah, and that's where they get the ashen from, because of course, if he has a shaved head, unless it's literally down to the scalp, then you wouldn't be able to pick out the hair color. So maybe that's what they mean by black-haired and ashen, because the beard or like the sideburns are a bit different color. And then you have the hair, which is a bit black, maybe, because it's so short.
Mm. But I don't know
Is
if the
mine.
shaven here meant like shaven hair, but more like shaven mustache, like that you don't have any
Only
Facial
the
hair, but
sideburns.
but the
hair in
Yeah.
sideburns.
your.
That's what I thought also, based on
I was
what you
Yeah.
thinking
said
like
then.
fully shaved, but the sideburns, and yeah, which
That would look very weird.
I
Why?
was imagining just like if you know what
Why would
kind of
anyone want that?
hairstyle men had in the 70s. Like they have
Yeah.
hair, it's fluffy hair, and then they have
Mhm.
sideburns, and they don't have beard or mustache. Like,
Yeah.
okay, they could have mustache, but this guy didn't.
Mhm.
Only
Yeah, yeah,
sideburns,
yeah,
like
yeah,
in the
yeah.
facial hair context. But I
Yeah.
think just hair.
Okay.
I'm still imagining this bald person with only sideburns.
Maybe we should like for the episode hint or something. We should have a, dr- a drawn picture of what this guy looks like.
Yeah, I honestly didn't imagine that this part of describing the body would be this difficult. I'm still not halfway of describing.
I can't wait to hear the rest.
Yeah. So
Okay.
then this is interesting. One teeth is missing. It looks like it's been knocked out. So I assume it's like one of the front teeth. So now, even more interesting thing is that the clothes that he's wearing are definitely not fit for any kind of forest walk in Lapland, even in the middle of summer. So he has jeans, 6 t-shirts. I understood that like he is wearing 6 t-shirts. And
Um,
some sources said, yes, yeah,
Yeah, sorry. The only time I could ever imagine someone wearing like 6 t-shirts is if they're taking a Ryanair flight.
yeah, on a
Like, oh
Ryanair
no,
flight.
oh
I was
no,
thinking the same.
my bag is overweight. I need to put all these shirts on. But Ryanair wasn't a thing back in the 1979.
But this
So
might be us now this weekend, Laura, because Finnair also has this, one small bag policy, so we might have
yeah,
to put on like 6 t-shirts.
yeah,
As
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It's fine. Yeah.
I must, maybe this is a good time for the spoiler alert, but one theory that I found was that this guy has been dropped off from an airplane in the middle of forest. I don't think this is valid, but that was like kind of one of the ideas that some people had about his destiny. So,
Yeah, I would assume that there would be lots of broken bones and
yeah.
like crazy amount of damage
yeah.
Yeah,
all
yeah.
over
The
the
thing is
body,
that
not just
nothing
a
in the
missing tooth.
autopsy implies that he would have been dropped from an airplane. So that was just kind of someone's thought.
Might as well
And
just
then,
say aliens. It was aliens that did it.
well, let's get back to that a bit later in this
Oh shit.
episode. So yeah, and some sources say that he had also a windbreaker, like a light jacket. But some sources say that it was not on him, but it was in a small remains of a small fire, so that as if he had tried to burn the windbreaker he owned. And then he was wearing cowboy boots. So he's, I don't know if his clothes were very typical for a 1970s style, but definitely not for a forest hike in northern Sweden. And specifically because he was not even walking the road, but like in the middle of forest. So this was something that the police thought very weird.
It like tourist comes to mind still, like someone who's just not who hasn't done enough research and just
Yeah,
kind
I
of
was also thinking this too because of course if you're out in the middle of Sweden and the closest town you just like, oh, we're just going to go out and take some pictures in the woods, like might as well do that in your normal clothes. And I mean, for instance, when I go hiking somewhere, my preferred hiking shoe is always high top Converse. So I'm always hiking in those because they're the most comfortable and they don't fall off and they don't cause any blisters. But if someone found my body, they'd be like, who the fuck is out here with jeans and Converse hiking in the forest? Well, me.
I don't see
Because,
anything wrong with that.
yeah, yeah. But cowboy boots, I mean, think about it if they're broken in, they're leather shoes, good for keeping ticks away and snake
Yeah,
bites and
yeah,
that type of stuff. So
Cowboy
yeah,
boots, the Converse of the 70s.
yeah, pretty much, and
yeah.
also stylish. So yeah,
Hmm.
But let's say we can assume that he was at least not intended to do a long hike based on the clothes.
And no
Basic,
other
yeah.
equipment.
Well, other things that were found around him was a coffee pot, uh, remains of small fire, where there was some burnt textile, assumably the windbreaker, and then broken matchboxes, some sugar, tea bags, plasters, and a package of razor blades under him, under his body. One roll of toilet paper, 6 meters long rope, Danish coins, and Swedish money.
I mean, it sounds like a fun Friday night out in the forest. I would say. I mean, I sometimes take the Trangia out just in some random parts of the forest, and make some coffee or tea. That sounds quite normal to me. And I dress in my street clothes. So this doesn't sound completely odd to me, like that he'd be
Mm.
out. And if he can build a fire, he's prepared for some things. Like, okay, the razor blades are a bit weird in my mind,
Mhm.
but maybe he just had those instead of a knife.
Because he wanted to
And
be
Mhm.
shaven.
yeah, definitely. But yeah, maybe he didn't have a utility knife or a puukko or something or a hunting knife.
Yeah.
And maybe he just had some razor blades. He had, what he had with him, and that's kind of it. So doesn't sound weird to me thus far. Just sounds like
Except for
Victoria
the
pointed
six
out.
t-shirt.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like to me like a tourist, as you pointed out.
Hmm.
Yeah. So also to me sounds like someone who intended to go to the forest for a little walk or something. Like not just, for example, escaping something or that kind of
Hmm.
panic situation where you don't have anything. But one thing that is important that I didn't mention yet probably was that this is 25 kilometers from Kiruna city, and the nearest settlement with any people living is Jukkasjärvi village, that is also 15 kilometers. And the closest place where you could think that there are constantly human people is the S-Range Space Center, that was like 10 kilometers away from the spot.
That's
So
still
this
pretty
is,
far.
yeah, I would say that any place, if you think that he was a tourist staying in some village or someone visiting researcher in the space center or something and just going to take a little walk with a coffee pot, it's a bit long walk, I would say.
But was there any cars found on any roads? I would assume that they maybe did a helicopter pass by to see if there's any access roads nearby. I mean, within a kilometer or two, closer than 10, maybe within 5 kilometers. That sounds a bit reasonable if there's any missing cars.
No, they didn't find any missing cars, and they also, tried to figure out who he is from the like. Has anyone seen him? Has anyone seen a car? Has anyone taken him into their car, like given him a ride? Nothing. So it seems that he's really like just came there from emptiness. Like there's no
Hmm.
implications that there was a car that took him, because the closest road was I think like about 2 kilometers. So that's very walkable still. But there was nothing to. It's a new forest road. There's nothing to imply that someone would have dropped him off there. But of course, you can never know.
Yeah, my first thought was like hitchhiking gone wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. So why they are looking for who he is because he has no ID, like no documents that would be helpful to identify him. So, okay, he has Danish coins and Swedish money, but it could be that he just came through those countries. I mean, he's in Sweden, so it makes sense that he has Swedish money anyway, but we don't know, like, well, definitely not a local, because it's quite a small community. People would know if he's a local, but is he a Swede? Did he come from another country? How did he come there? They don't find out.
So it's not
This
just
is
no ID, but they don't find like anything other than those coins, like no other documents.
No.
Yeah, okay.
this is kind of giving like the Eastall woman vibes. Do you remember this case, Victoria? The possible spy that was
Oh
found
yeah,
dead in
true.
Norway,
Hmm.
and they're like,
And
what
there's
happened
not
to
not
her?
only that, there are several of these
Mm.
kinds of stories,
Mhm.
and it's always like, oh, was that a spy? I think that's usually one of the theories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe this guy
Also
was a
in this
spy as
case,
well.
Hmm.
yeah.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
I mean, it's the Cold War era, so of course, and still you think that it's the Lapland of Sweden. So if you were traveling from the Soviet Union, you theoretically you could come through the Finnish Lapland. But then again, it's not like you could easily cross the border of Soviet Union and Finland back then or now. So, and then again, if he was a spy, what is this attire? Like, why does he have such weird clothing?
Maybe he thought that that's how the Swedes dressed. If he's from Soviet Russia, he's like, everyone wears 6 t-shirts and
Or he's from the future, like
yeah,
Marty
I also thought
McFly.
that too. Like alien travel or future and yeah.
I mean, it's
Well,
not that
there was a
weird.
theory about that too in Reddit.
Oh god.
Hmm.
So
Of course.
you're pretty good. But okay, I must tell a couple of other things. So, okay, one question. How do you think he died? Like, what did the autopsy find?
So he had one missing tooth. And
Yes.
there was no ligature marks on him. There was no
Okay, then I will reveal a bit more. So there
yeah.
is blood. So there's blood on the things around him, and they can find some cuts in his arms, but not deep enough to cause death. So kind of minor cuts.
Where on his arms?
That I didn't understand. I mean,
Okay.
somewhere in
It's
his
not like,
arms.
oh, could
Yeah,
it be a suicide attempt sort of
I think
cut?
that's an option.
Hmm.
I want to say he died of poison or exposure.
Exposure of what?
Exposure would be like to the elements or something. He was left to
Hmm.
either starve or
Ah,
something or
Mm.
being too cold, hypothermia
Yeah,
or
but in the summer, like, okay, sure, like northern
Eh,
Sweden, but
yeah.
can it be that cold? Or was it? Do you know this, Petra? Was there anything about the temperature in the articles? Like, was it
n-
very cold at night?
no, but I can now reveal that he did indeed freeze to death. But he had been
Mm.
dead for a month already. So basically, he had died in May.
I mean, there could still be snow and ice in May.
Yeah,
Yes,
easily.
yes. So basically, May in Kiruna is it's cold. I would say, like it could be something like 6 degrees Celsius, and almost like winter. Not minus anymore, but +3 to +6. So if you are wearing only 6 t-shirts, it's possible to freeze to death, I would guess.
And I would assume that that's the reason why he was wearing the 6 t-shirts, maybe because he was trying
Y-
to stay warm and
But
then
why did
burning the jacket, like the windbreaker. Maybe it was some flammable material that was like
Hmm.
better, like maybe some wax coated or tar coated jacket or something like that that lasts a bit longer in the fire. I don't know, just an idea.
yeah, could be.
So how did they determine when he probably died? Was the body decomposed
Yeah,
to some
like
extent? Yeah.
I think at least his uh, eyes were already. Yeah, I was listening this in Swedish. There was a podcast that the podcaster had actually read the autopsy, but yeah, I understood that his eyes were decomposed or at least like gone. Maybe other option could be that they have been eaten by an animal in the forest. But anyway, that you could see that it's not something that happened just recently. So they said it's about a month that he has been dead, and there is no indication of violence and no alcohol or drugs in his body.
Yeah, sounds like to me he was maybe hitchhiking gone wrong, went to the forest, or someone dropped him off in the forest and he couldn't find his way back and died of exposure. And he was a tourist. I don't know.
So they think it's not that simple. Like, are there any signs of foul play?
They did give you know they sent a request to Interpol to try to figure out who he is, because this was kind of the most weird thing there. They reported it widely in the local newspapers. No one, at least, admitted that they would have seen him or given him a lift, or nothing would be found in Interpol. Like, you would assume that if he was a missing person, that in any country that they would try to match these things together. Like, oh, we are missing a man in his 20s. Oh, there's a dead man in his 20s.
Hmm. So the question is here not really how he died, but rather who is he and how he got there.
Yeah. Okay, apparently he is not, killed on the spot, but Rattle just died there. But was that. Did he want to come there? Did he get lost? Did someone throw him out of their car? Apparently not from the airplane, but. Or was he an alien that been investigated in the S-Range Space Center?
I think I'm sticking with my original theory. I think he was either someone from, could even be from Norway. It doesn't necessarily need to be Swedish because, I mean, hell, the guy had Danish money and Swedish money. So I would assume that maybe he is going through some of the Nordic countries and just popping onto Sweden on his way to, for instance, or Finland, and then met some unsuspecting people that, I mean, he has no other possessions on him, so that speaks to me of robbery, or like no one's going
Mhm.
to steal your shirts, for instance, but he has no other money besides some Danish krona or Swedish kroner in his pocket, or
Yeah.
yeah, that seems very suspicious to me. So I think it was some type of robbery, highway robbery.
Highway robbery. That's why no one comes forward telling that, yeah, it was me who gave the hike.
Yeah, because if it's somebody who you're not able to figure out who the fuck they are because they're from Germany or they're actually from Denmark,
Yeah.
I mean, Interpol, yeah, sure, missing people, but how many missing people are there throughout Europe? You're not going to be able to determine this. And yeah,
And maybe he didn't have a family or anything. He was like a solo traveler or something
Yeah.
like that. I mean, no one was looking for him, basically.
Yeah, some people had theories that there's this harbor of Narvik in the Norway side that kind of has a road leading to Kiruna, and that the ore from the mines is often uh, taken to the harbor, and then the ships ship it to somewhere. That maybe he was someone visiting from the ships, so not a local guy, and if he was part of some group that comes to Kiruna to take the ore, nobody pays that much attention. Okay, they are the guys from the harbor. No one counts how many there are, and maybe maybe no one. They were like, oh, that one guy was left in Sweden. Who cares? Let's go.
I wonder if there was any DNA or anything gathered or basically maintained for this long, because then they could do some familial DNA matching, possibly.
Yeah,
Like, I mean, with all these cold cases that are being solved with familial DNA. So,
I actually don't know if the local police took any sample. Like, I mean, the DNA wasn't a thing yet, but like a sample of hair or something from him. But because
yeah, or yeah,
eventually
blood. Yeah.
he was cremated as an
Oh,
unknown person.
damn. Because I was also thinking there's this other forum where they are able to guesstimate your basically your patrilineal side, the name, your
Mm.
last name, and basically off of your DNA to see, oh yeah, this person is, I don't know, Pettersson or something like that. And then, okay, well, how many Petterssons were there in 1979? Well, that's a Swedish name. So okay, they were Swedish after all. So we would need to narrow our search down to Sweden for missing people back in this day. So yeah, but too bad he was cremated.
I mean, it's still not impossible that they saved some kind of sample
Yeah,
of
that's what I
something
was thinking. Like that
before
there
they
is some.
cremated him.
Yeah, but yeah, I was kind of like the tourist. I read in the forums, the Swedish were like, yeah, that's actually a common thing that these tourists from south, southern Sweden, Denmark, Germany, come to Lapland and they have just absolutely no idea how they should be, what they should be wearing, and
I would think the Germans would know the best on how to dress because they literally dress like they're hiking everywhere anyway, like in a good way. I mean, they're always prepared for
yeah,
everything. Like when I think of who I would want to be in the wild with, I'd be like, I want to be in the wild with a German because they obviously have some jackal-wolf skin jacket and some nice hiking shoes and whatnot. And of course, I'm being very like stereotypical right now, but it is mostly true from the Germans I know. But
But in some sense, he was also prepared. Like he had this rope, he had matches. It's not like he had nothing with him. So
yeah,
I think what's more weird is that there were no like there was no ID. Did
yeah.
he have a wallet? Because you said he had there was some money, but was it just some coins in his pocket, or was it because if his like if there was no because I would think that you put your
Mm.
ID in your wallet with the money. So if it was indeed a robbery, then maybe that was taken. But he also had some other money in another pocket.
I
Like is
don't
that
think he had a wallet because I think it would have been mentioned in some of the sources if he had like a wallet because even the plasters and these kind of things were mentioned. So I'm just like I think that money could even be outside, like not in his pockets, but just lying around
hmm
him.
just to me, this seems like let's say he was actually prepared for at least a little bit of a day hike, and they took everything that was of value for this hike. Like you're not going to take rope. Like who the fuck needs
Mm.
rope? Who needs lostari or band-aids? Yeah. Or
Yeah.
who needs matches and these type of things. Like the coffee pot probably wasn't that expensive, so they probably took the tent. They probably took the sleeping bag. They
hmm
probably took the more expensive items, including the wallet, passport, etc., and left like these shittier items behind. And that's why he had the t-shirts and the jacket and the.
Mm. And that would maybe explain the lost tooth that they hit him in the
Yeah,
face.
got into a fight.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Because I'm sure they
Yeah.
figured out that the tooth was lost right before he was dead, I would say. Like they either find the tooth or I mean there was some type of damage to the mouth that was quite close to death or close. I mean, yeah, like the timing of the injury was probably recent, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I just say that they assumed it was knocked out, so I guess it looks different if your teeth has just fallen out for some,
Maybe the bone
not
was
taking care of.
fractured around it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that part was clear, but just whether it was knocked out. Of course, you can have a knocked out tooth even as a kid, but like, was it a recent wound or was it an older wound prior to this
That
event? I mean, you can still,
it wasn't clear. Yeah.
Either way, it could still be a robbery, even if
yeah,
the missing
but that
tooth
would,
is unrelated.
yeah,
Yeah.
but that
Yeah.
would definitely point a bit more towards the robbery or incident of violence right before death or some
Yeah, and I
altercation,
don't
I would say.
know about the dental stuff in the 70s that well, but if you're in your 20s and you lose one of your like frontal teeth, I would assume that you will mm, want a fake teeth there because people don't want to be like with missing teeth, especially if they're
Yeah,
young.
yeah.
And he has cowboy boots and everything. So I mean, sounds like he's not just like that. He cares about fashion. That he's not some,
Mm.
how to put this politically correct, like outside of the society person, one who's taking care of himself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I would guess that there were already in the 70s people would get their teeth fixed, like you would put some kind
Mm-hmm.
of implant teeth
Yeah. Or bridge or
if you
something,
lost one.
because they had bridges
Yeah.
back
Yeah.
then. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's why I would also assume that it's quite recent thing that it had been knocked out.
Mm. Yeah. Agreed.
And also the fact that the ID was missing could, in a way, point to, like some intentional harm to him, like someone wanted to cover it up, and because of that, they removed his ID. But I think in this case, it's also very likely that they just wanted to take his money and the ID was in the same place. So I don't think that's necessarily a sign of like a premeditated murder or attack or something like that.
No,
Yeah.
and especially in the 70s, hitchhiking in the safe Nordic countries, I would assume that, yeah, it's quite common and yeah, quite safe actually, unless you're maybe someone who looks like they're out of town, they don't really know what's going on, and then they see someone who looks like they have money, for instance, if he's dressed well, wearing
Yeah.
some latest fashion or looking out of place, like he's not from Kiruna and wasn't premeditated, but they saw it as a crime of opportunity instead.
Mm.
Yeah.
But still, it kind of bothers me a bit that he's quite far away from the road. So did these robbers come few kilometers from the road with him into the forest, or did they go into the forest in a separate time, or like why did they end up being in that spot together?
I mean, it could also be, hey, we're also fellow backpackers. We're
Mhm.
going to go up. I mean, I'm just trying to think. I don't know what the main nature points are near Kiruna. Is there some mountain that is quite often like to see, or some type of, yeah, some sightseeing trip that is quite close by? Like, yeah, we're going. Oh, you should join us.
I think it's said that it was on uphill of Latnivara Hill. So I
Uh-huh.
don't know if Latnivara Hill is hill where you would want to climb on.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sounds like it. But yeah, I would
Yeah.
just think that you could have, yeah, fellow backpackers or fellow other people that are also maybe even tourists that take advantage of
Mhm.
this situation. That's why he's so far away. And then they leave him with the shittiest stuff that he can't survive with, and they just hope he dies, or like, yeah, leave
Yeah.
him with the cowboy boots. Maybe he didn't, I don't know. It was supposed to be a kind of like, Gilligan's Island. It was supposed to be a 3-hour tour. He wasn't intending it to be
Mm.
forever, literally,
Yeah.
quite forever.
Mm-hmm. Or even if not fellow backpackers, he was just maybe hitchhiking from one city to somewhere else. Someone picked him up, whoever,
Mhm.
and then they decided to rob him. But this is like a remote location. So that's when they, I don't know, pulled over, robbed the guy, kicked him
But
out of the car.
do
It
you
was
yeah.
like, why did
Then
he
I
go
would,
into the forest then?
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I would follow the road. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. If I had been robbed, I wouldn't be like, maybe I'll go into the forest and make some coffee for myself.
Yeah.
There was one hint, though, that I didn't reveal yet, was that there was a couple who were driving and they gave a ride to a guy who says he's from Austria, but spoke good Swedish and said that he's a medical student, but it's not clear like where they had given this ride. And then there was other couple who said that they saw someone, but when they were shown the picture of this guy, they were like, nope, that's not him. But I don't know, this Austria guy sounded kind of possible thing. That would be still a tourist from south, uh, medical student. I don't know, like a student coming for a hike in northern Sweden is a possibility, but I don't know if it's the same guy.
Yeah, I mean that to me that fits the best profile because we were even
Hmm.
saying someone from Germany, but okay, Austria. Yeah, I
But
But
this
yeah,
couple who
yeah,
said they gave someone a ride, did they not see his photo, or like could they identify him based on the photo? Because you said the other
yeah,
person couldn't.
yeah. That's what I was a bit confused. Like they weren't shown the photo then, or
Hmm.
I'm not sure. But then one thing that makes me a bit suspicious about this is that if he's a medical student, I don't know, like he doesn't have any friends or family. The university, like nobody's wondering where he is.
Yeah, well, that's true. It's kind of, yeah, that part that no one is missing him. Kind of, that's interesting because I'm not surprised that he was traveling alone.
But then again, we have to remember that it's the 70s and information doesn't flow as smoothly. So it might
True.
be just that, like, something was missed, that there's a missing person, and no one just never
Yeah.
thought that it could be this guy.
But what's more interesting is that, okay, sure, they don't find out immediately or for a while in the 70s, but is there still no development in this today?
No, I mean, yes, there is no development. I wasn't
Mm.
sure which way of answering I
Yeah,
should
yeah,
do
yeah.
for your question.
Hmm.
But yeah, that's one reason why I kind of agreed taking this listener's request for the case,
Hmm.
because I think there is a possibility of crime here. As you speculated, it could have been a robbery or something.
I think there must be something like that. At least, at the very least, like a robbery. Because why did he not have anything, any ID, any passport with him?
Yeah. Some people were theorizing that because he had the razor blades and cuts in his arms, that maybe he was just suicidal and wanted to come in the middle of forest to kill himself, and he had the rope, so he had like different means. But I would rather think that maybe because he was robbed and then he's like, shit, I'm going to die here, maybe I should make it faster. Like that wasn't the original reason he came to the forest, at least.
Hmm.
And then he didn't succeed with
yeah,
the
but I'm also
razor
thinking
blades,
what
I
was the
mean.
direction of the cuts? Like was it across the street
Couldn't.
or up the street,
Yeah.
you know? Like was it intentional to actually kill himself or was it just scratches? Because to me it sounded like just superficial wounds that weren't really meant to cause that much bodily harm.
Know
Hmm.
about the blood in the things around him, were they from the tooth,
Oh
because
yeah,
there
I
was
was
also
thinking
blood,
True.
or the
that
arm?
was
I
yeah.
don't know.
Yeah, yeah, agreed. I think the tooth is the most especially if it's knocked out and whatnot. And if he got into a fight, chances are that there's also some maybe nose damage. I don't know if there was a broken nose or, but at least a broken tooth
Hmm.
and taken out of the root, that's gonna bleed a fuck ton.
Yeah.
So yeah,
What are the other theories? So suicide is one.
Hmm.
aliens
Yeah.
Okay, aliens.
dropped from a plane.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that is easy to kind of exclude, as he would have had broken bones a lot if he had
Hmm.
Yeah, I
dropped
know.
from a
Yeah.
plane,
Yeah,
I would
that's
say.
kind of easy to exclude.
Yeah.
Um, what about the spy theory?
Yeah, there's the spy theory that he could be from some, you know, Soviet Union or other uh, like Eastern European country that's in the influence of socialism,
Hmm.
or yeah, I mean East German is one option. Maybe he is the guy who said that I'm an Austrian student,
Mm.
but who knows? And yeah, about the tourists, like there was lots of people who thought that he was just kind of a lost tourist, but then somehow it's probable that someone would have seen him. Like, how did he get to that point? One theory say that okay, there is a train that arrives to Kiruna around night, so you could maybe he came by the train and then he just did never go to the village or anywhere where there's people. But I don't know, that's kind of far-fetched to me. He would you come by night train and then you just start walking to the forest without checking into any lodging.
Mm, yeah.
But yeah,
Maybe
the
done with
alien theory was
yeah.
that he's okay. There's lots of theories also around the S range space center. One is that he's just simply someone who works there, or like a visitor, maybe from another space center. But then he would probably be missed. That's the part. But there's lots of theories that these space centers are not always what they claim to be, that they do some kind of, alien research or this kind of secret stuff. So maybe they couldn't, expose his identity. Maybe he was from a foreign state coming there to do some alien research kind of theories. Or
Mm-hmm.
maybe there was time travel. There was this whole cool fake spam thread in Reddit that someone had actually like written these secret letters in Swedish, like "Hi, I don't even remember them anymore, but where they kind of write them so that this guy's disappearance is somehow related to these time travel experiments they do in the space center, and this is related to the UFO research they do in the USA. But lots of people in the Reddit thread were like, that's like super fake. Your letter don't look even real, and
Mm-hmm.
so those are just jokes, I would say.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's lots of possibilities. I feel like it's probably not that complicated.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Occam's razor. Go with Occam's razor. I think at this point we have lots of speculation and it's kind of getting a bit repetitive. So maybe we should
Mm.
start it, Petra, or do you have any other points?
no, just if if you're missing someone from the 1979, consider this story to be a possible destiny of them.
Mm.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
always sad with
Yeah.
these stories.
yeah, agreed.
But somehow it would be nice if it had some kind of, I don't know, closure. So,
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's
but yeah,
solvable for
nothing else
sure.
to add.
That's always the
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's
The
if
question
if you only
is
had
there
some
any
DNA.
evidence? Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like, is there any evidence that was saved, and does anyone want to actually solve it? And
Mm.
I don't mean
Yeah.
people like making up theories on Reddit, which can be useful as well, for sure. But, like someone who has some, mm, I don't know, access to potential evidence or something like that.
Yeah. Agreed. Maybe let's solve this case, guys. Maybe we should request if they have any. We should contact Paul Holes and be like, "Hey, help us solve a Swedish cold case with
Yeah, but I
some."
think Paul Holes would be like, but is there any DNA evidence?
Yeah, that's what I'm like. If they indeed have some bloody shirts or something, like, "Hey, Paul Holes, get over here. We'll
Yeah, I
fly
don't
you
think.
again."
Okay, like no offense, but then he is probably not even needed if
Yeah.
they do
Okay.
have some evidence.
At least it would
But
be
sure.
cool. I don't know. He probably doesn't know about
Yeah,
this case. Anyway, yeah. But
yeah, but true.
okay. So I guess that is we're wrapping up now.
Yeah.
Um, and
Do-
so for next week, it is my turn. And I'm still deciding. There's this one case that I'm thinking about doing. It's another burning case, but there's quite a lot of research and data. So, and it's quite recent. So, but there's a lot of stuff on it. So, and it takes place in southern Finland. And yeah, so don't go googling any burning murders in Finnish until I have covered my case.
Do you think it might be a two-parter? Is there so
Nah,
much
I'll try to
information?
be very, very short with my or like just be very to the point with my notes and stuff. But it's just a lot
Okay.
of data to more go through, I think, and
Mhm.
sift through. Be prepared to cry.
Yay.
Thanks
Thank you, Petra.
for this, Bra, for doing the research, and thank you to your husband. Thanks for suggesting this. And
Yes.
yeah,
No
you know
closer
who
case.
you are. You know who you are. You're listening to this episode. And yeah. So yeah, thanks for listening. And you can follow us and like us on Instagram at Translation Murder Podcast. And you can send us a Gmail for requests on some languages that maybe you haven't heard coverage in that we might know, or maybe someone that we know knows the language. We have quite a lot of international friends, for instance. But yeah, go ahead and request if you want. Any questions, comments, or concerns can also be sent there. Just be nice about it. And what should they not send us, Petra?
Big pigs.
Yeah, dick pics. No dick pics. And yeah, so go ahead and also check out our website at translationmurderpodcast.com.
Oh yeah, you can also rate us. You can also rate us on Spotify and places. Give us like 5-star ratings or something.
Yes, yes, please rate us and please follow us because I'm keeping track of all that stuff too. And we have, I think
We
right
love
now as it
stats.
stands, do I want to say how many followers we have? Or
But it will
Well,
be
if you cut it
different
up,
number when we,
yeah, true. We will
okay.
have like
actually
thousands of
air
followers
this.
when this
Yeah,
comes
yeah,
out.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah, like 10,000. The whole town of Kiruna, 23,000.
yeah, that would be awesome though. But yeah, follow us on Spotify and rate and yeah, subscribe. That'd be awesome. Tell your friends about us too because we appreciate it and we appreciate you. But yeah, thank you. Hey paralla.
Bye.
Moro.